Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
You're watching Now Let's Review, and we're going to be reviewing the Puckipuppy Corgi 2.0 next on Now Let's Review. Hey Jesse, do you want a step-through fat tire e-bike?
Sure.
This might be the one for you.
I'm sorry, did you say it's called the Puckipuppy?
I did.
That's
the brand, and then the model is the Corgi 2.0.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Are all of their bikes named after dogs?
They are. There's the Labrador.
I love that.
Beagle.
That's adorable. I mean, I know you do a lot of animals like the raptor, the eagle, and the falcon.
It's very friendly.
Corgi, that's so friendly. I love that. Okay.
Yeah, so they got many different designs. This is their step through, and this is, you've seen these before. They're smaller looking tire, but they're still called a fat tire. So 4 inches wide, but only 20-inch diameter.
Yep. And that means that it's not going to handle bumps quite as well as like the giant tired ones, but it does keep the weight down usually. But I'm looking at the weight here. It's not really much lighter.
Yeah, so I'm going to disagree with both things you said there. So the weight's kind of high at 70 pounds. Yep. But it does have front and rear suspension. So let's talk about that for a second. So it's got dual front air suspension, which is adjustable. And then it's got this interesting rear suspension where it doesn't have a lot of throw, but from our testing, it seems to do a pretty good job absorbing the bumps. And then my little hack is that you don't have to fill up those tires so much. Normally you would, because it would be affecting your range, and if you're pedaling, it's harder to pedal. But unless you're going for a super long ride, take a little air out and they'll absorb bumps better.
I like it fully inflated.
I know, we're like the odd couple there. Yeah. So this is a 7-speed Shimano gear shifter. So it's really nice that you not only get, the different power levels on the electric motor, but you also get regular gears, which is really nice for going up hills and stuff like that.
Now, this is a cadence sensing bike, and if you're like, I don't know what cadence is, that would be not torque sensing. So on this bike, there are some magnets on the things that move, and then there are some magnet sensors that can detect that you are pedaling. And when it detects that you're pedaling, it will turn on the motor, and when you're not pedaling, it'll shut it off.
Yeah, and there's kind of the old school, like the beginning days, cadence sensors were pretty bad, and there was kind of like turning on and off the motor, so you'd feel this lurch. But they've gotten better recently, and this bike did have a better cadence sensor, so it didn't really feel like it was lurching forward or anything like that. All right, so let's go to the big question you're all asking about, which is price. Their MSRP on the website is $17.99, which is a little high, but like many of these websites, you never really see that price. The sale price is $400 off, so it's $13.99.
All right, well, that's not too bad.
No, it's right in the right price range, I think, for this bike. I think it's kind of fits exactly what I thought I'd be getting. And what you do get in terms of power is a rear hub motor with 750 watts. And so I kind of think this is like the right amount of power for these bikes. It's not too powerful, which you'd have to spend more money on. It's not underpowered. Like a lot of these 350 watt bikes are underpowered. 750 is nice.
750 is going to get you up a hill pretty much all by itself every time. And that gives you a lot of peace of mind, because if you're on a long bike ride, not that you ever really get that tired on an e-bike, but you know that if you encounter a hill and that thing on the map that said, oh, just take a right here and it's no big deal and it's a crazy hill, that you'll probably be able to make it up without having to walk your bike.
And talking about long bike rides, so the manufacturer says you can expect a range of 40 to 80 miles. I like actually that they give you such a broad range, because it's true. If you're going to pedal a lot at level 1 and do most of the work, you probably could get close to 80 miles. But most of us, let's be honest, don't ride it that way. A lot of us use a lot of throttling and, go faster than we should. So I'm guessing that would be hard to get 40 miles if you were really using a lot of throttle.
Yeah, and I think that this is an excellent range. 40 miles is a long bike ride.
And the reason I think you can actually get that range is, let's jump to the battery. The battery is 960 watt hours, so almost a kilowatt hour of power. It's a 48 volt, 20 amp hour battery. And so it's a lot of juice. And so that's how they can get that range. Because again, this is a 70 pound bike. So take your weight plus whatever other things you're carrying, your water bottle and all of that, add 70 pounds, and then fat tires. So that's a lot of work that motor has to do.
And speaking of rider weight, you can add up to 400 pounds of capacity on this bike. So this does work for many different riders. It works from a rider height of 5'2" to 6'3". So that's a nice wide range of height, I would say. Gonna cover most people there.
And if you're wondering about top speed, where the law allows it, this can go 28 miles an hour. You can also just lock the speed in at lower if you want your kids to ride it not so fast. There are 2 color options on this one. So you're seeing white with orange trim, which is the one we have, but there's also black with the same orange trim. And I want to say on some of these websites, you'll see reviews, and a lot of them, you get the sense that maybe they're fake or there's only 3 reviews and they're all glowing. I went through all the reviews. There was 32 of them. They all seemed to be 5-star, which made me curious, but they all seemed real. I'm pretty good at sussing out when these are just faked by the manufacturer, and these did seem to be real, and everyone seemed to enjoy their bike. So you get an LED display on the bike, which shows you a bunch of things, kind of all the things you could expect: speed, the odometer, the time, power level, and whether the headlight is on. And I know this last one doesn't seem like a big deal, but for me it is. Every time I'm riding an e-bike, if it doesn't have this little indicator, I have to like put my hand in front of the headlight to see if it's on. And I like my headlights on during the day as well. So it's nice just to have this on the display.
One of the features that I really like about this bike is that it has hydraulic brakes. Now, when you were a kid, you probably remember the brakes, and those were called cable brakes back in the day, and squeaky as they were. Now, hydraulic brakes are going to give you more stopping power. They're going to give you a more consistent squeeze. It's going to be more comfortable. All around, hydraulic brakes are the way to go. They usually add a bit of expense, so it's good to know that you're getting nice componentry on this bicycle.
You got a front LED headlight that has 2 bulbs. It's nice and bright. And you might be wondering what those 4 buttons on the left handlebar are for. Well, those are power, so you can power on and off the bike, and then power levels up and down, and then your headlight.
Pretty much everything that you would need.
Yeah.
Over on the right handlebar, you have your thumb throttle, and you've got brakes on both sides, obviously.
And now let's get into the accessories. So you can get a front basket for $89. There's fenders, which I would highly recommend for $89, because you might think, well, I'll save a little money. But that first ride that you do with any puddles, and you're going to wish that you'd done what I said, you can get an extra battery, get this, Jesse, for $299. Now, I'm not saying you have to get this right off the bat, but having a second battery can be nice, or buying it a couple years later can be nice, because batteries can wear out, and so knowing that you can get another battery for not too much is nice to know. And lastly, there's pannier bags for the back for $79.
And it comes with a 48-volt 2-amp charger, so it is going to take quite a while to charge up the battery. 6
hours, yeah, that's from empty to full. Although, keep in mind, a lot of times you're going to get back after a 10-mile bike ride, and it's not going to take forever.
Exactly, and most of the time, if you're riding more than 40 to 80 miles a day, this is not the bike for you.
So it's an all aluminum frame. It seemed to be, there's obviously some spots where the welds weren't perfect, but all in all, I think for this price, it's a really good value. If this seems to be the shape of bike that you like, if you like that step through frame, which makes it easy to get on and off of, then I think you're going to be really happy with it. Really great bike for kids. And overall, I think good bike for just about anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it really lives up to the Corgi name. It's a very friendly looking bike. I don't think that you're going to scare too many people with it. And it's in the right price range for the features that it gives you. I love the hydraulic brakes. The one thing that I do wish that it would have would be a tail light.
Interesting, yeah. And I wanted to ask you, if you weren't the bike expert that you are, would you know this was an e-bike? Because to me, it doesn't scream e-bike.
The fat tire can, people will wonder why the tires are so wide. But yeah, it doesn't scream e-bike. There's no bulky battery sitting anywhere. They've hidden the controller. So to the attuned eye, such as I, yes, I can tell that it's an e-bike, but that's only because I'm excited to see them.
And then this isn't different. This is the same for most e-bikes, but you need the key to get the battery out. And I just think that this is a weak point, because when you go for a bike ride, you don't always think of keys. It's like cars maybe, but not bikes. So I feel like I wish that manufacturers would either make it optional or give us another way, because if you're in your neighborhood and you're not worried about theft, it's just dumb to have to bring keys with you.
But I can understand why they did this. I mean, if you're ever in a place where you do wish that nobody could steal the bike, it's great that you can kind of take the battery out or lock the battery in, whatever you choose to do.
And from what I've seen so far, especially in the reviews, really good customer service. Because let's be honest, this is being shipped from China. There's a possibility that something will come broken. In our case, something did come a little bit scratched, although it didn't keep the bike from functioning. So just nice to know that from what I've read, you can get a hold of the company and they will ship out parts pretty fast. All right, so overall, we're pretty happy with the Corgi 2.0. Let us know down in the comments what you think, questions that you have, things you want us to review, because that's what we're here for, folks, is to review things so that you can get out there and enjoy electric mobility.
Thanks so much for watching on Now Let's Review.